hope you're all staying safe and well. Welcome to my Citizen channel, and today we have another of the thick and fast these games, aren't another big match preview as we welcome Aston Villa to the Etihad, don't we, on the 20th of January 2021. A nice 6 p.m. kickoff, so that'll do for me. That's okay for me. You know, I'm up early some days, so yeah, I'm up at 2 a.m. the following morning, but at least I'll be able to get 4 or 5 hours kip, so that'll be fine. Yeah, so Manchester City versus Aston Villa at the Etihad, and the Premier League, of course, 20th of January 2021. It's on Sky Sports as well, so if you want to know where it's on Sky Sports. So we'll have our regular features today, of course. Yeah, we've dropped one today, but I've moved it to somewhere else. It's gone into another little feature of its own. So that's the bad news and the good news there, all in one go. Because, of course, we'll have the History Boys today. A look at our two clubs, of course, City and Villa, recent games and stuff in the past. The odds on the game, of course, with my free just for fun bets. And lots more as well, with my predicted lineups and things like that. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of these, please push that bell thing there and get notified of these Citizen vlogs, past and present. I'll tell you about a couple I've got coming out at the end. As I say, I've already mentioned a new one there, haven't I? But there's a couple of ones at the end I'll give you a mention for as well. And if you do check the playlist, you'll see some stuff on film and TV as well. I do spread myself wide, don't I? I do a film and TV channel as well. I do movie reviews, drama reviews, information vlogs as well on what's out on DVD and stuff like this. So if that's of any interest, please go over to there. I mean, if it's not and football's your thing, there's plenty of football. Or if you know someone else who might be interested, please point them in my direction. I'll be very grateful. And I've put a couple of links on the screen there as well for Facebook and Twitter, so if you're friend and follow me on that. I do check every 3 or 4 days, and actually follow and friend everyone back on there, and I post loads of stuff on there as well that perhaps don't touch these vlogs. Right, here we go. Manchester City versus Aston Villa. Yeah, the History Boys. Yeah, the last time it was this one, not one of my favourite. I mean, one of my favourite managers, obviously, but not one of my. If you know my programme blogs, not one of my most popular programme covers. That one of Joe Mercer, but a fantastic manager. I just didn't quite like the drawing. To be honest with you, it wasn't one of my favourites. So yeah, that was the 26th of October 2019, so it wasn't that long ago, was it? I think we were still in a chance. We believed we still could win the league then, didn't we? I think we were about 6 points behind Liverpool on the same games, but you know, we still thought there's plenty of time. Everyone was saying, oh, it's early doors yet, and early doors, but we all know what happened, don't we? But it's a good win. It was a good win that day, 3-0 win over Aston Villa. It was a pretty awful first half, if you remember, if you cast your memory back. There's plenty of highlights on YouTube, etc. But the start of the second half, a great long ball by Ed. I mean, most of the crowd looking at the empty seats on the look back on YouTube. I certainly don't miss the start of a game unless it's something drastic, or even the start of the second half unless it's something drastic. But there's a lot of people not back in the stadium when that first goal went in. It was a fantastic kick by Edison. Gabby did really well. He nodded it on to Sterling, who looked like Messi at Sterling, looked like a lethal finisher. It's like watching Harry Kane or any of the other guys. Yeah, he made it 1-0 with just nutmegged the keeper. I think the keeper made it nice and easy for him though. Spread his legs really wide, and obviously, so just 20 seconds into the second half, we were 1-0 up. 65 minutes, a whipped in KDB cross. Yeah, one of those again. Was sort of nudged in, a bit scrappy, but it was nudged in or touched in by David Silva to make it 2-0. And a Gundo and a sort of volley come scissor kick from 12 yards out made it 3-0 and sorted the game out. We actually lost Fernandinho that game. He got a second bookable offence in the 87th minute, so he actually was sent off, and that didn't help us that time. If you remember, cast your minds back, we had a few centre half problems. They all seem a million miles away now, don't they, with what we've got on the books now, etc. But yeah, it was him being sent off didn't help, did it? Because he obviously was played emergency centre back half the time. Yeah, interesting stats on the game. I mean, and I think Villa don't change, and I think they haven't changed this time as well. I mean, City had 26 shots, Villa had 10, which wasn't bad. You know, that's not bad. City had 11 on target, and Villa had 5 on target. So yeah, they give a good gist of it certainly in the first half. Saying that, and obviously we'll get on to Villa now later, obviously. But yeah, we had 64% possession. But no, Villa were well into this until we obviously got that first and certainly the second goal. Then they sort of died a little bit of a death then. Overall in the league, at home against Aston Villa, we played 78 times now. This will be number 79, but those 78, we've won 47, which isn't bad. Drawn 15 and lost 16. So again, not too bad a record. And a lot of those early defeats, and probably in the days when Villa were quite good in the 1800s and early 1900s, obviously a lot of their history, if you like, was back then. Hey, but it's still history, it's still there, isn't it? We scored 164 goals in those 78 games, and we've let in 91. So they're not bad actually from Villa there. Our biggest wins come back 5-0. We've had a couple of 5-0s. We had one back in 1935-36, and no, I wasn't there, so don't start if you know. I know what you lot are like. A 5-0 in 35-36, December the 7th, 1935. A crowd of 35,000, which wasn't bad. I mean, don't forget that was the 30s. We're getting some big crowds in the 30s, weren't we? That's when obviously we got our massive crowd, our record crowd, didn't we? It was 35,000 there for that game. Tosland got a couple. Tilson also got a brace, so Tosland and Tilson scored 2 each, and Mr. Eric Brooks scored the other one, so that was a 5-0. And of course, you'll probably remember, if you obviously even the younger ones, we had another 5-0 in the 12-13 season on the 17th of November 2012 in front of 47,000. A certain John Moss was reffing, and he's reffing again tomorrow. Been around a long time. About time he retired, isn't it, Mr. Moss? I mean, obviously, you know, get rid of some of that girth and sit on a chair and enjoy himself. But yeah, John Moss was the ref. City team that day was Hart, Maicon or however you pronounce that, Company, Nastasic, Clichy, Yaya Toure, Barry, Nasri, Silva, Tevez and Aguero. Tevez and Aguero, fantastic. And we sat second unbeaten after 11 games, and obviously that was the season after we won the league, hadn't we? But unfortunately we were second to United, weren't we? And we obviously know how that panned out in the end, but we were 2 points behind United even though we were unbeaten. David Silva gave City a half-time lead. Again, that's another scrappy goal. Well, it wasn't scrappy, he took it well, but obviously he hammered it in from a few yards out. But there's a bit of a goal-mouth scramble before that. He gave us a lead at half-time. On 54 minutes, I think we must have given the old linesman a bit of a backhander, because there was an apparent handball for a City penalty. Obviously, no VAR in those days. He seemed to be the only one in the ground to see it. The fans didn't see it, the players didn't see it, the Villa players didn't see it, City players didn't see it, the referee didn't see it, but obviously the lino gave it as a penalty. And I mean, even every sort of angle you looked at, I couldn't see where the handball was. But hey, we took it. Aguero took it and made it 2-0. And 65 minutes, the linesman again, the same linesman, give us another penalty. He's there with his flag across his chest. And it was handball this time. Obviously, there's not much to argue with that one, but he was brave enough, wasn't he, to stand there with his... having said that, there's only City fans behind him, so I suppose he could be brave, couldn't he? He perhaps wouldn't have done it at Villa Park if it had been the other way around. Yeah, and Tevez stepped in that time to make it 3-0. 67 minutes, Aguero added a 4 from a fizzing shot that went through the keeper. I don't know what the keeper was doing, sort of caught him at his near post. And on 75 minutes, Tevez completed the route with a tap in at the back post from a Nasri assist. It's nice to see Mr. Nasri there as well. Yeah, my first chance to see City at Villa. I think we're in this divisions apart in the from the mid 60s till the 70s. So my first chance that I can see and look back, and I've got the programme there that you'll see, there'll be an image on the screen, was the February the 7th, 1976 game. And we were still buoyant, as you can see from that, after qualifying for the League Cup final, obviously to play and beat Newcastle later on. But interestingly enough, I mean, I looked through the Aston Villa programme, and I couldn't find anything on Aston Villa. There was no team pictures or profile or anything about the visitors. It was just literally celebrating this League Cup. I think that was a bit mean, actually, but perhaps that's why they've got a bit of a grudge with us, Villa. I don't know. Perhaps that's why they were a bit nasty at Wembley last season. But hey, there you go. And quite an interesting little fact. It's funny what you see when you look through these programmes. But it gives you ideas for future things anyway. But yeah, there's not much on Villa. I might have missed it. It might have been but at most it might have been a couple of paragraphs, because there's certainly no pages devoted to Aston Villa anyway. So yeah, attendance that day 32,331, 76. So I would have been in the Kippax that day, of course. I'd graduated to the Kippax and probably in the 73 season-ish, something like that. I used to go in the Platt Lane before then. Yeah, 32,331. The lineups that day, interesting. Obviously, City was Corrigan, Clements, Donachie, Doyle, Watson, Oakes, Barnes, Keegan, that's Jed Keegan, Royal, Hartford, Chewett, and the sub was Mr. Tommy Booth, who actually would score for us. He came on 70 minutes, playing really well, Tommy Booth, at that stage. He had done for years. It sort of went under the radar, didn't he, a little bit. Aston Villa, they had John Burridge in there, of course, who would play for us when he was in his 40s, wouldn't he? He had Gidman, who would play for us as well, Robson, Ross, Phillips, Overton, Graydon, Pimblett, Andy Gray. It wasn't just a pundit, he used to play as well. Hamilton and Carradus, Carradus, who'd left City as well. He used to play for City, wasn't overly appreciated. We might do a special on him one day, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit about Mr. Frank Carradus. Their sub was called Cowans. Yeah, I mean, Andy Gray actually put Villa ahead just after 7 minutes in the first half, beating Corrigan. Bit weak, I think. I don't think Corrigan was at his best in that one, particularly, although I say I thought he was a fantastic goalkeeper. Certainly for 2 or 3 seasons, he was definitely better than even Shilton Clements, but he did have his moments, obviously. Late in the second half, I mean, he got to the 80th minute before City equalised. Hartford goes on a great run down the middle and crosses, and the aforementioned Tommy Booth heads it in at the far post. Fantastic. And Hartford himself got the winner. A nice goal, a nice sort of volleyed goal, quite close in, but some good build-up on 86 minutes. So we beat Villa 2-1 that day, and strange enough, Villa went all that season without a single away league win, so they never won in the league at all that season. How are they doing this season? Well, that's a history bit done. How are they doing this season? Well, it's funny. They've had a funny 2 or 3 weeks, haven't they, of having to put out youth teams to play FA Cup games, which is another matter that I don't like particularly. They sit 10th as I recorded this, as I looked at the tables, so I think as I'm recording this, they sit 10th, and that can change. I don't lose any games on a Tuesday when you'll be watching this, I'm not too sure. And they're certainly having to play catch-up, aren't they? They've only played 15 games now, so obviously you think City were sort of playing catch-up, weren't we, early doors, but it seems like Villa now are playing. Fulham, I assume, will be in the same position. They've had games cancelled, haven't they? But if they won the games in hand, I think they would actually, based on what I can see at the moment, they would actually be in the top 3, so just behind City. So that's not bad going, is it? And it's quite a turnaround from last season, where they were pretty poor. But it's their away record that's really working for him this season. He seems to have gotten well organised, the manager. They played 8-1-5, drawn 1, and lost just 2. And, certainly one of those defeats, they were quite unlucky. Before their enforced break, they a creditable draw at Stamford Bridge. Perhaps weren't, Chelsea were slightly better, I think, overall. But then they tasted defeat at United. But from what I saw, were the better team against United. And let's face it, I think United were kicking anything in a Villa shirt that moved, to be honest with you. I've never seen a really high foul count by United in that game. I think they were really rattled by Villa's play. They really went for it. So it's a shame they ended up as certainly deserves a draw, if not a victory at Old Trafford. So, although, hey, they were the top of the league, so if they do that, hey, who knows? But I think this COVID outbreak obviously couldn't really come at a worse time couldn't it? I mean, it's so sad from it's happened now. That leads us on to my thoughts on this game. I mean, surely with all this disruption at Villa, City just need to be competent, don't we? Surely we just need to play a good game, a good competent game, nothing special to win this one. We can put our best 11 out. We don't have to worry. We've got the FA Cup coming against Cheltenham, where we can play some of the, if you like, the backup players or some of our lesser players, which is a bit, I'm being disrespectful there, because I think we've got a cracking squad and some cracking players. But I think with that Cheltenham game coming up, there's no reason why, obviously, we aren't going to go strong with the team. And as I say, with the problems Villa are having with this, and obviously have they been able to train? Have they been training at home? Have they not been together? You never know. I mean, I think Fulham, when they had the similar thing, came back and actually did very well in the next game. So you just don't know. I mean, it's like a rest as well, isn't it? So they will be up for it. They will be fit, and that's the thing. Obviously, as long as no one's got a hangover from COVID, like obviously we might be seeing that ourselves, with a couple of our players with the Jesus and Walker situation. I think they've been affected, and we know it does because Gundogan went through a bit of trouble, didn't he? So it will be interesting, but you never know. You never know. Obviously, they might be freshened up by this My lineup, I mean, let me know what you think the lineup's going to be. But my lineup, again, just having a quick look at it. I've not gone into fantastic details. Just looking at the team he played, obviously against Palace. Obviously, we're going to go Edison, aren't we? But my back four, so I've stuck Mendy in, but I don't know. I just don't know. Cancelo, Diaz, Stones. Must be shoe-ins, mustn't they, surely? Or the Cancelo. I mean, a lot of people thought he'd play start the game the other night, and he didn't. And I've put Mendy in, but I would not surprise at all to see Zinchenko in there. I think Zinchenko's not really let us down. Perhaps Mendy playing a bit more defensive, which Pep's had him doing the last couple of games. But I'll go with that anyway. The back five, Edison, Cancelo, Diaz, Stones and Mendy. I think he's going to go back to Rodri. I wouldn't mind Ferner still being in there, but will Ferner play against Cheltenham rather than this game? I don't know. It could be Ferner. I've put Rodri in for now anyway, and KDB and Gundogan, who have both been playing pretty well. Well, Gundogan, as I said, he got away with it last time because he scored a brilliant goal. He didn't have the greatest of games against Palace, if you watch my review of the game. Yeah, so I've gone Rodri, KDB and Gundogan as a sort of midfield. Up front, I've gone for Foden again. I think Foden, Jesus and Sterling. I think obviously Sterling looked okay the other day against Palace. It looked a bit better. So, yeah, so it's an interesting one. If we get 7 or 8 of those right, I'll be happy actually, because there's certainly 3 or 4 there that could easily swap for someone else. So let me know what you think anyway, what your starting 11 might be. The match officials. Referee, as I said before, Jonathan Moss. His linos for the day, Harry Leonard and Dan Robotham. He's usually on VAR, isn't he, Robotham? Fourth official, David Coote. And on the VAR, we got Mr. Andy Madeley. We've not had him for a little while, have we, on anything, ref or VAR. And assistant to the VAR, Mr. Madeley, is Simon Beck. Score prediction, yeah, interesting one on my little things. I'm going to go for 3-0 again. I'm going to go for 3-0. I did have 2-0 and 3-0 against Palace, so I was 1 out on that one, which is annoying. And some people are going for quite a close game against Phil. They're going for like 2-1s or 2-0s. But yeah, I'll stick with 3-0 and see how it goes. I've gone for another score as well if you look at the odds. So yeah, that's sort of our official last feature today now. We're just going to have a look at the odds on the game. Please, I don't condone gambling, and when the fun stops, stop. And this is just for a little bit of interest for me. As I say, it's I used to make a little bit of cash from, quite a lot of cash for a very short time, because the bookies latch on if you start making money off them, but on horses. But obviously I've never particularly made any money on football. I've done okay, but nothing fantastic. So please, this is just for fun, and in no way do I condone gambling. And as I said, please be careful. Only ever bet what you can afford. Last time, yeah, I managed to break even, just about broke even on the Palace game with the over 3.5 goals market. So even though we had 2-0 and 3-0, which was a bit gutted that we got that 4th goal, which is what it does to you, isn't it? I mean, as I say, it's supposed to be for fun, but it's at 3-0. I would have been happy with 3-0, but hey, 4-0, we win, don't we? So it doesn't matter. But I did have a little bit on the over 3.5 goals market. So I did actually just about break even on the day, so that wasn't too much of a disaster. Interest in the Premier League now. The Premier League betting, City now 8-15. We've firmed up to 8-15 now. I think we were 8-11 last week. Obviously, things are getting shorter and shorter. Liverpool have gone out to 4-1 to win the Premier League. If you're interested in Aston Villa to win the Premier League, 150-1. I won't disparage them by looking at the relegation odds, because I think they'll be pretty safe, and I think we'll know more after Wednesday night's game anyway. But yeah, they're 150-1. And on the managers to go next from the Premier League, so the next manager to go, if you like, Dean Smith, the Villa manager, is actually less likely than Pep. I mean, Pep's 50-1. He was 66-1 last week. I don't know what's happened there. Has he said something? I'm not too sure what's going on. But Pep's gone into 50-1 now to be the next managers to go, and Dean Smith is 66-1. So of the managers, Dean Smith's the safest according to the bookies. There you go. The match odds, yeah, City are 1-4 on, 11-2 the draw, 11-1 for a Villa win. I mean, there's no real value in that. As I say, obviously as a Villa fan, you sort of might risk an odd few p on 11-1, mightn't you, or even on the draw. Both teams to score. Bookies can't make their mind up on that. I mean, I couldn't make my mind up. You'll see in a minute on the correct score, but I mean, these clean sheets are wonderful, but they can't keep going on, surely. And Villa, as I say, Villa like to have a go. So The bookies have got them both 10 to 11, so both teams to score yes is 10 to 11 and no is 10 to 11, so that's interesting. But the correct scores, yeah, my 3-0, that's 8 to 1, so I'm going to have a point on that. And I've also gone 4-1. I let Villa score a goal, so I've gone 1 point on that, that's 16 to 1. If you fancy the 2-0 City to 1, that's 7 to 1. 2-1 is 17 to 2, and 3-1 is 11 to 1. Yeah, I don't think we're going to score 5. Well, I hope we do, but there you go. Half-time and full-time, not a lot of value there. Again, I've gone based on City and City winning at half-time, full-time, 4 to 5 on. That's not bad, actually. That's not bad. Having looked at that now, I'm sort of half inclined to fancy that one, actually. But anyway, I've not done that one. Never ever change your mind. This is another little rule with anything in life. You know, once you made a decision, stick with it. And the draw and City's 3 to 1. So that's a good value, actually. If you think Villa will keep us till half-time, but City will win the game. So they're not bad prices, actually, half-time and full-time. But anyway, my next bet's on the anytime goal scorer. We got Foden at 7 to 4. You got Gundogan at 11 to 4. Bernardo at 14 to 5. I've not even got him down as playing, have I? Yet he's been playing really well. He's another one that, as I say, he could come into the team. But I've just gone a little bit mad with this one. Because Stones is obviously 11 to 1 to score, which isn't bad, but he's not going to score again, surely. So if Diaz and Stones play, perhaps Stones will set one up for Diaz this time, if you like, by getting a save, and then Diaz will get in the rebound. So I've had a point on Diaz at 17 to 2. So as I say, just a bit of fun on that one. I say it's only a bit of fun. Well, that sort of interested me. Under-over market, again, not very good. Over 3.5 is 6 to 5. Is there going to be 4 goals in the game? Possibly, but yeah, no value there. But my last bet and the last thing I looked at was winning at half-time. So you can, if you shop around for this, you can get City to win at half-time at 4 to 6. So that's I've got a couple of points on that, 4 to 6 on. So I don't think that's a bad little price, actually. And if you look at the half-time, full-time, City 4 to 5. I mean, that makes that look quite good as well, isn't it? Because I think City are going to be winning at half time, and I certainly hope City winning at full time. So, yeah, perhaps I could have gone for a 4 to 5 and 2 points on that. But no, I'll stick with what I said. I'll stick with what I've gone for. So there you go. Anyway, thanks. That's the odds, as I said. Please, I don't ever condone gambling. Right, that's our little preview. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what you think. As I say, we usually have our little City magazine feature now, but I've moved that now to a regular, well, not a regular thing. It probably a couple of times a week, possibly. It's the One City show. So it's not the One show. I'm not going to do the tune, obviously royal family-esque. But I've got the One City show, which has a more sort of detailed and sometimes funny look, and sometimes head in the hands look at the media, both social media and obviously the papers, etc., etc. So I will be recording one of those a couple of hours after doing this. So please keep your eyes out for that. It's the One City show. So episode 1 will be out quite soon. So as I said, this all the City magazine features. Any great images I've spotted on social media, any funnies, etc., will be on there. Unless it's specific to a match, and then obviously I'll include them in the match information. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll be back with a review of the game, of course, on Thursday. That'll be early Thursday afternoon. That should be out, so please check back in for that. And also, there's a new City player, Joe Hayes, born the 20th of January 1936. So there's a little special I've done on him. He was born in Kersley, so look out for that as well in the City Pass, my City Pass feature. Obviously, City players are the Pass feature. So a little one on Joe Hayes. So if that's of any interest to you, make sure you got that bell notification pushed. Lots of stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching today. What are we going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families, more importantly. Let's all look after each other. So we meet again here on the Citizen channel, or perhaps you flit across and have a look at my film and TV channel and see my ravings on there and see what you think. Until we do, all I ever ask is please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.